Hello and welcome to Wine Wednesdays. I'm Freddy Arredondo, winemaker at Cave B Estate Winery, and behind the camera is Carrie Arredondo, our marketing and events manager. This is our 7th installment of Wine Wednesdays, where we get to answer a question posed by one of you, our Cave B wine fans. So with that, Carrie, what is this week's question?
This week's question comes from Steve Junker, and at the end of last week's video, he said a little story, and I'm going to read what his comments were, and then the question comes from that. So in Steve's words, he says, so we have an aerator. We frequently use it when we pour a just open bottled. We notice the difference between aerated versus non-aerated when the bottle is just opened, but not so much after it has sat open for a few minutes. Are we fooling ourselves with the first glass? Does that make a winemaker cringe?
So first off, absolutely no, it does not make a winemaker cringe. Secondly, you're not fooling yourselves. Aerating, especially in young wines, like we talked about last week with decanting and aggressive decanting, that's essentially what you're doing with an aerator. You're just giving the wine a breath of air. You're giving it some oxygen. The oxygen helps to volatilize those aroma compounds. And as we've talked about before, that your taste is directly tied to your smell receptors. So 75% of taste is smell. So by incorporating that oxygen, you get to volatilize those aromas, and it actually opens up the wine. And you're not fooling yourselves in that after the first glass that you aerated and the wine sits open for a little while, it tastes almost similar or almost exactly the same as the aerated wine. And that's because as you're pouring the wine, the action, that glug, glug, glug action where the air goes back into the bottle, that actually aerates the wine as well. So as you're pouring from the bottle, you're actually aerating the wine in the bottle. And then you also have this headspace here that puts the wine in direct contact with oxygen too. So that helps to open up those aroma compounds. So that's actually a great question.
Thank you for that, Freddie. And hopefully, Steve, that answered your question. So Freddie, before we go here, I see our brand new 2020 Rosé sitting there on your table. And 2 days ago, if you guys saw that post, we posted a video of you bottling our 2020 Rosé. Can you explain why wines can't be released like the moment that they are bottled? I know you are enjoying that, but it's not readily available to the public yet.
Yeah, so that's actually a really good point. So typically with wines, you really want them to sit in bottle for at least a couple of months after they've been bottled. They go through something that we in the wine industry call bottle shock. And that's just basically when you put a wine through the bottling process, you're actually being fairly aggressive with the wine because you're putting it through pumps and putting it through spouts that fill the wine. As the wine goes into the bottle, it's kind of sprays out of the sides. And in the case of rosé and other white wines, it's filtered also. So the filtration process disjoints the wine and kind of is just aggressive with the wine. So basically think of it like this. You're at home, you're taking a nice little cozy nap. The wine has been taking a nice little cozy nap, whether in barrel or in tank, not being disturbed much at all. And then all of a sudden we come and we're just wrestling it awake, and we're making it wake up and making it shower and get ready to go. And so it kind of frazzles the wine a little bit, if you will. And that's kind of what's happening. It just makes the wine a little bit disjointed. But after it sits in the bottle for a while, it comes back together and it becomes that beautiful, amazing wine that you knew was going to get there. But that first couple of months, it takes the wine some time to settle down. For our reds, we actually like to let those sit actually even more than a couple of months. And oftentimes with our reds, they're actually in bottle for about a year even before we release them, or close to a year before we release them. So a little bit of time in the bottle after bottling just does the wine good, and it just helps it gives it time to come back together.
That's great. Thank you, Freddie, for explaining that. If anybody has any questions or comments about either the aeration or the bottling process or anything else that you want to ask for us for the video for next week, please leave a comment below, or you can also direct message us if you'd rather it a private message, or you can even email it to info@caveb.com. All three ways are fine, and they all come to Freddie or I.
All right. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.